Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. For a man who reveres his privacy, Prince Harry certainly has a knack for making himself the centre of global attention.
Ooh!
Harry is seemingly addicted to invading his privacy.
What are you suggesting?
Invading the privacy of his friends and families and appearing in public places and making sure that everyone talks about them.
How dare you, sir?
He's currently at the High Court in London. He's flown 5,000 miles, which is a good thing to do if you're an eco-warrior, of course, watching your carbon footprint.
Piers Morgan, you're such a bastard. Now, I'm often in two minds about Piers Morgan, because on the one hand, when he's dismantling somebody like Prince Harry, somebody I dislike, and he's making one succinct point after another, calling out his conspicuous, blindingly obvious hypocrisy, it's great to watch. It's fun for all the family. Can be a bit frustrating sometimes, though, when he gets someone on his show to debate with them and he just bombards them with one unrelated point after another, not letting them get a word in edgeways or address the previous point before he starts with another. I just find it a bit intellectually disingenuous. I find it a little bit intellectually disingenuous. Your self-loathing is creeping out again, Danny. Yeah, well, maybe I wouldn't hate myself so much if more of you would hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Is that too much to ask? Clicking a button? Oh, I wouldn't want you to put your back out. Of course, if you have done that already, thanks. Let's go on with the video.
To attend a case which involves the owners of a Daily Mail newspaper, accusing them of breaching his privacy. He's one of many celebrities that are down there. Now, the stage of a court case is all about procedure. There are no witnesses, no evidence, no box office material. The hearings take place today and yesterday and could have passed without anyone really noticing. But Harry wanted everyone to see him.
Do we have that pap on the scooter again?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we do? Really? Same guy?
Same guy.
Oh my God, how fun.
Watched him go into this park and then...
Is he with us?
Yes, sir. He was just ahead.
There's a lot of people who think they've got such a problem with paparazzi.
Yeah, those, the guys in the basement of the building, too, as we were doing that walk, they were recording, too, just so you're aware. This pap, I mean, worst case scenario, so safety first. Worst case scenario, we're going from one garage to another. Like, it's...
Paparazzi still harass people.
Typical, isn't it? You know, it never rains but it pours, Harry? All that time searching the corners of your car for the paparazzi. And finally the day comes when one of those paparazzis physically manifests. He catches you right off guard, doesn't he, Harry? You didn't have any of your Netflix crew there to film it and put dramatic music in the background.
It all happened so fast. So very, very fast. What people failed to understand is that I was actually in a good mood that morning. Then it happened. It couldn't have come at a worse time. I was still processing the trauma of when my brother attacked me.
He wanted to make the front page news and he arrived turning up with a big grin on his face and leaving with a big grin on his face, looking like he's rather enjoying it all. Nothing better than the cost of living crisis than watching multi-millionaires rocking up in court wanting money.
Yes, I mean, this is the thing with what I was saying about Piers Morgan before. It's like, yeah, I love Harry getting called out for being the parasitic little hypocrite that he is. But at the same time, Piers Morgan, he's being a little bit intellectually disingenuous there. I wish he was more intellectually honest, like me. Because all I care about is justice and fairness. But you know, he's sort of going, there's a cost of living crisis and he's got money. What do you think about that, plebs? Piers Morgan is an expert at this kind of thing. He's been doing it for decades. I remember an anecdote by Ian Hislop about Piers Morgan. This must have been 20 years ago. I was watching Have I Got News For You as a teenager. And Ian Hislop said that a photographer had been following him around for a number of weeks, waiting outside of his house, and eventually just said to the photographer, what is it you need? What do you want a photo of me doing and I'll do it? And he said, I just need a photo of you smiling. And so Ian Hislop just went, oh, okay then, you know. And that photographer was apparently working for Piers Morgan, and so inevitably the next day the headline in the paper was Ian Hislop smiles as children are slaughtered, or something like that. I'm being hyperbolic, obviously.
So Harry seems to me to be rather confused about his treatment by the media.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Harry Piers, there doesn't seem to be a lot that he isn't confused about.
How many of us feel battered? A seal opera.
He has been taking lots of notes again today. There's no need for him to be here because all of the evidence that's being presented on behalf of the claimants is written. So it really is, the fact that he's appeared today was about sort of being seen publicly.
Of course. Well, Harry's hatred of the media was laid bare in 6 hours of media bashing for Netflix, which ironically is the same media company that just happens to pay him $100 million and, of course, is also airing The Crown, which invades the privacy of his entire family on a minute-by-minute basis and often grotesquely mischaracterises the truth. But no matter, there's money, so he'll keep quiet about that. But there's a major flaw also in Harry's campaign against press invasions of the privacy, and it's this. He's made his own privacy a ruthless public commodity, trading in his secrets and those of his family and his friends and sometimes even the people he lost his virginity to the highest bidders. The prince who fled Britain to protect, apparently, his family's privacy has laid bare every tawdry detail of his private life and theirs in this tell-all memoir, from drug abuse to intimate conversations with his father, the king, at his grandfather's funeral. He gave exclusive access to images of his children to the Netflix cameras. He toured TV studios discussing his frostbitten todger to sell copies of his book. He charged royal watchers $30 each to watch a live stream of a therapy session in which he again boasted about his drug use. How much self-destruction of your own privacy can a public figure get away with before they abrogate their right to privacy?
It's all just an act.
Stop! He's already dead.
Yes, it does feel with this topic at times that we're rather flogging a dead horse, or should I say, clubbing a dead seal. That was a good one.
But privacy isn't really at the heart of Harry's crusade. He's made that crystal clear by selling it to the highest bidders. Now, what Harry really wants is control. He can control the narrative in Netflix shows. He can control the questions he's asked in publicity junkets. He can't control his version of the truth in his book or books. What he cannot control is a free press. And yet a free press, warts and all, good, bad and ugly, of the type we have in this country, is the very cornerstone of a democracy. And that's why Harry, who wants complete control over everything that's said and written about him, is so afraid of our free press.
I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? Of course it's about control. Harry wants to control the narrative around him. I mean, it's a sort of paradoxical situation that all famous people find themselves in, but it's obvious. Of course they want to control it. Of course they do, Piers. I've said that a million times before. We've got to catch up, all right, Piers? Yeah, I've been saying this for months. No, but I'm joking. But yeah, here's the thing. Obviously, it's about control. Obviously, he wants to, and all famous people to an extent want to control what information is given out, and they want to try and manipulate the narrative around themselves a little bit, to some extent, right? They don't want negative press and they don't want too much invasion. However, with the case with Harry and Meghan, it's infuriating because it's so false. There's this claim initially that they want privacy, but obviously we're seeing that they don't want privacy because they're benefiting financially to a degree that is unfathomable to most of us. You know, they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars out of these projects. So the thing is, to me, that I find it a little bit difficult to work out, because clearly they don't want privacy. Obviously they want to control the narrative. There wouldn't be any negative press around them if they didn't behave negatively. And I think this happens a lot to narcissists because they're so self-centered. And I know I use the word narcissist a lot, but I think it does apply to these two. Because they're so obsessed with themselves and they want everybody to perceive them as brilliantly as they perceive themselves, they inevitably come across as shallow and self-centered, and they attract negative attention. And it's so short-sighted on their behalf. From them, from narcissists, and from Harry and Meghan in particular here, it's short-sighted because the way to gain long-term success for them would be to attract positive attention, right? The thing is with narcissists, often they're not that talented at anything. So you've got this situation where you've got these two people who need attention because they need to sell something, but they don't really have any talents. You know, Meghan to a degree had done okay. She was clearly a talented enough actress to get on, you know, to get decent money out of an acting career. Harry was born into immense privilege, but wanted more than that. He wanted more appreciation for you know, he felt undervalued. He felt underrated. He felt like it was more than what the monarchy had to offer. Meghan felt she was more than an actress in Suits, you know. And so they're in this very, very strange position. This is the way I see it. They're in this very, very strange position where they can't want privacy because that would mean their financial ruin. And they can't really attract any attention to themselves other than selling a sort of victim narrative, which is what all narcissists do, which stirs up a lot of hatred towards them. Because as Piers Morgan rightly says, there is a cost of living crisis. There is a situation where people have real problems. The world is full of, you know, everyone's lives are full of tragedy, and these two don't appear to have much tragedy in their lives, really, tangibly, other than, you know, Harry's mum dying when he was a kid. And it's just it's just a toxic cycle that they can't get out of. And they'll never really aim to get out of it because they can't really see outside of it themselves, because they're narcissists. They see themselves as victims. They see themselves as they feel entitled to more than what they have. And at the same time, I think it's very short-sighted. I think they're going to ruin themselves financially and probably socially as well. I think people are just going to turn their backs on them, which we're already starting to see. You know, Oprah and Hollywood in general, and all the famous people, all the TV presenters, even in America, you know, the dumbass late-night TV hosts, all of them except Stephen Colbert seem to be turning on them. It's just typical Stephen Colbert, you know, his finger on the pulse of the nation. Fucking idiot. Yeah. So I know this is a confused end to the video, but it's a confusing situation. I think it's quite difficult to unravel, unless you just, you know, have something better to do. And you can just go, oh, I know what the problem is. They're a pair of dickheads. Not me, though. I'm going to sit here for hours and hours and hours thinking about it and talking about it, and you're going to watch me. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.